Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third game of the 1974 series between the national team of the Soviet Union and Team Canada 74. Here are the lineups for this afternoon's game. First of all, for the Soviet Union, head coach Boris Kulagin and his assistant coaches Alexander Loktev and Vladimir Yurzanov. Accompanying them is Valery Sitch, Chief of the Winter Sports Department of the USSR Sports Committee. And now the Soviet team, number 13 and their captain, Boris Mikhailov. Number 1, Alexander Sidelnikov. Number 2, Alexander Gusev. Number 3, Vladimir Lutchenko. Number 5, Yuri Lyapkin. Number 6, Valery Vasiliev. Number 7, Gennady Tsygankov. Number 9, Alexander Volchkov. Number 10, Alexander Maltsev. Number 11, Yuri Lebedev. Number 12, Viktor Kuznetsov. Number 16, Vladimir Petrov. Number 19, Vladimir Shadrin. Number 22, Vyacheslav Anisin. Number 24, Alexander Bodunov. Number 26, Alexander Filippov. Number 31, Viktor Shalamov. Number 15, Alexander Yakushev. Number 17, Valery Harlamov. And finally, number 20, Vladislav Tretьяк. And now, for Team Canada 74, would you welcome, please, Coach Billy Harris. And manager Bill Hunter. Now here is Team Canada 74. Number 1, Don McLeod. Number 33, Gilles Grétton. Number 3, J.C. Tramblé. Number 4, Mike Uolton. Number 7, Andre Lacroix. Number 8, Tom Webster. Number 10, Marty Howe. And number 11, Mark Howe. Number 12, team captain Pat Stapleton. Number 14, Ralph Bäckström. Number 15, Jim Harrison. Number 17, Rick Smith. Number 18, Paul Schmier. Number 19, Paul Henderson. Number 20, Bruce McGregor. Number 21, Serge Bernier. Number 22, Mark Tardif. Number 23, Johnny Mackenzie. Number 24, Al Hamilton. And number 16, Bobby Hull. Not dressed for today's game, ladies and gentlemen, but three players who have provided a combined total of over 60 years of entertainment in professional hockey. Would you please welcome number 30, Jerry Cheevers. Number 27, Frank Mahovlich. And number 9, and now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the playing of the Soviet national anthem and O Canada.
And so with the traditional exchange of gifts, the Soviet team is presenting red little hockey sticks to the Canadian team this time. They have different gifts on each occasion, and the banners to go with them, of course. And it's going to be just a moment or two now before Game 3 is underway. This is Game 3 of the Canada-Soviet series from Winnipeg.
Canada is an oil-rich country. But if we're going to stay that way, we have to find new sources of oil long before our present supplies run out. It takes time, it takes know-how, and it takes an awful lot of money. Because you don't find oil just by drilling a hole. You have to know where to look, And even then, the odds are strongly against finding a productive well. Gulf Canada plans to spend over $110 million this year, trying to find and develop the new energy resources that will help keep Canada running smoothly in the years ahead. This money comes mainly from Gulf Canada revenues. And if you think this is the kind of job we should be doing with our money, you've hit the nail right on the head. The money we spend today will keep the oil flowing tomorrow.
The 1974 series, ladies and gentlemen, involves three partners: the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association, the World Hockey Association, and Hockey Canada. At the official face-off this afternoon, Mr. Ben Hatskin, representing the WHA, will be joined by Mr. Georgi Rogolsky, the Vice Chairman of the USSR Sports Committee, and the Honorable Mark Lalonde, Minister of National Health and Welfare. Could we have the two team captains, please? Boris Mikhailov and Pat Stapleton. As a memento of this occasion, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Carol Black, Winnipeg's Centennial Ambassador, will present mounted pucks to the official party. The officials for this afternoon's game: the referee, Mr. Victor Dombrowski of the Soviet Union; the linesman, Mr. Jim LeBlanc of Canada; and Mr. Sergei
Victor
Gushin.
Dombrowski is the referee. The goalkeeper's number one is Sedelnikov from the Soviet Union, although I rather suspect they may change that. Don McLeod, whose 2.56 goals against average for the Team Canada 74 was best in the WHA last season. The big fella, 6'1", 190, and he won 33 out of 49 games played. Now, they did tell us, and I spoke to Sedelnikov, he said he was going to start. He's a 23-year-old goalkeeper, but I still have a feeling they spent more time warming up Tretьяк, so we may have a switch there at the last minute. And now we go to our second set of stars who we'll be seeing this afternoon. Marty Howe, who's 20 years of age. He scored 4 goals last year. He had 20 assists, and he'll be working out on the defense. He's got a big, tough, hard shot. And number 24, Al Hamilton, who had 14 goals and 45 assists. And then we'll also have a combination here of Jim Harrison making his first appearance, and he's going to be centering a line out there with Paul Henderson and Bruce McGregor. So as we set in the opening period, Victor Dombrowski from the Soviet Union will be the referee, and at center ice will be Andre Lacroix, and on left wing will be Bobby Hull, on right wing will be Johnny Mackenzie. Back on the fence, Whitey Stapleton and J.C. Tremblay. On the forward line is Harlamov, Petrov, and Mikhailov for the Soviet Union. And it's Lacroix feeding out to center ice to start this first period. J.C. Tremblay has it taken away from him. Here comes Petrov's shot that is blocked by Tremblay. Bobby Hull quickly carries it into the corner. He kicks it through a maze of legs, comes up with the puck. He is promptly tied up by Harlamov, and then the Russians are doing great forechecking in there. Lacroix out to the line, but not over. Takes it a second shot. Out to the line, not over for a second time. And the Russians are pouring around. Here it is in front of the blue line. Gusev. His shot is blocked. Back comes the Canadians. Led there by Johnny Mackenzie. Picked up by Trombley. Over on the wing of Bobby Hull. He shoots. Oh, the there by Alexander Tretьяк. As Johnny Mackenzie throws a body check at Gusev. Here comes Lacroix. Trying to make that play in front of the net, but he's checked. And tearing down the left side is Mikhailov. Mikhailov is knocked off his feet, but it was just loss of balance more than a trip, and play carries right on. Bobby Hull trying to slide it through as the Canadians are changing on the move in the first 40 seconds of play. Gusev, number 2. Gusev is bumped in there by Jim Harrison. He was hit right in front of the Soviet bench. As a matter of fact, the Soviets were trying to change players, and Harrison knocked him right into the gate, so they couldn't carry on with the change. Gordie Howe has bruised ribs. He said that he could play, but Dr. Jerry Wilson advised him not to play until Monday. Harrison with Bruce McGregor on right wing and Paul Henderson on left wing. Shadrin, number 19, at center for the Soviets. Big Yakushev, 15, on left wing for the Soviet Union. And Harrison is in doing the forechecking with McGregor. Trying to tie up Ляпкин. It's Shadrin, number 19. He's bumped there by Harrison. Paul Henderson falls, knocks the puck out to center. Shadrin takes it, 3-man back to the line, looking for the drop pass, and there it is to Ляпкин, trying to get set for a clean shot. And that's blocked out of there by number 18, Paul Schmier, who went down to block that shot.
The Russians seem to be applying considerably more pressure. They're throwing 5 men into attack, and the Canadians are going too deep. They let the Russian defensemen move in there after everybody skated by them. Someone's going to have to pick up that defenseman when they get the puck back to him. But certainly, the Team Canada starting much slower in this contest than the previous two.
Now we have Marty Howe out there on defense along with Al Hamilton. They face off. The puck is fired out to center, where it's taken by Yuri Ляпкин. His long pass is right on, and Don McLeod turned that aside. And it's Tsygankov firing it in from long range. That goes all the way back to Al Hamilton, number 24, but it's called for icing. And there's a sign down at the end of the rink, which is rather unique. Maybe turn to get a shot of it in a moment. There it is. How in the hell can we lose? 18:05 remaining in the opening period as Anison, number 22, goes to center with Bodnov, 24, on the left wing. 21, Bernier over to Tom Webster, number 8. Bernier was shaking on Webster, but lost control of it. Bernier knocked it back in the net. Anison comes up with it. Anison, a long pass on the left wing, goes all the way down. It's wide of the net, and they could have made a play on it. Canada, the linesman rather, waved no icing. Now the puck is inside the Canadian zone, led out there by Webster on a rink right pass. Here's a breakaway. Going in is Mark Carter. He shoots on and missed the net. Tretjak was way out of his net as Carter's let a boomer go. Carter recovers at center ice again. He's going in, trying to get that pass away, and it wouldn't go. Number 24, Al Hamilton over to Carter. Carter trying to get by Victor Kuznetsov, number 12. Bernier's bumped by Lutchenko. And they tie the puck up in the corner, and the whistle blows.
No way in the world he should be shooting from out there. Look where Tretjak was. Just a little fake and a little deke, and he had a wide open net.
Out for the blue line, Whitey Stapleton tries to get that shot in front of that. Here's a backhander that didn't get away as Howe was tied up. Back in that again, they try to jam it to the short side. Tretjak was right up against the post as Mike Uolton had it. Uolton back to the line. It's knocked high in the air. Off the stick of the goaltender Tretjak. Uolton again takes a whack at it. They keep it in. Uolton is bumping. And here come the Soviets back down the left wing. A long pass over on the right side. Over to Mihailov. Mihailov back over in the right wing, and it's loose at the left boards. Gusev, the defenseman, shoots his spot. And down the cloud. I think a couple of catches like that is what McLeod was hoping for to get warm. That's the shot that was he was hoping for. Get a couple low, get a couple high, catch a couple, and you feel like you're really right into the hockey game. Now we have Ralph Bäckström on left wing, number 14. Over the Soviet blue line, gets by Vasiliev, works his way into the corner. He throws a bump at Petrov and then goes after the puck. Vasiliev drags it down the boards on the left side. Coming up there with it was number 11, Mark Howe, but he couldn't get out. Now this time it's taken by Harlamov. Harlamov turns. He's number 17 at center ice. Lacroix missed him with a stick that could have been a steering call, and that might even be called for steering. Here's a penalty against the Canadian team. And Victor Dombrowski is putting the call on Andre Lacroix. Now, he's calling it not for steering, but he kind of poked the stick at him and missed.
Team Canada penalty to number 7, Andre Lacroix. 2 minutes for slashing. The time.
They called it a slash at the 4:01 mark of the first period in a 0-0 hockey game. So now we have the Soviets with the opportunity for the power play as it is taken in there over the line, knocked off the boards by number 20, Bruce McGregor, and down into Soviet territory. Back forward is Gusev. Out there killing the penalty is 20, Bruce McGregor, along with the Paul Henderson, number 19, who almost intercepted. Back to Mihailov, off the skate. He goes inside the Canadian zone, back to the blue line to Gusev. Gusev shoots, and that's kicked out by Don McLeod. Back come the Canadians, led by Paul Henderson, who fires it to center. Soviets are taking plenty of time before they start moving on this power play. They're not rushing into it like they usually do. This is Vasiliev circling a second time. You see, they don't usually do that. Here's Gusev now going to take a try. Mihailov is turned aside by Paul Henderson, and the Canadian checkers are picking up the men and staying right with them. Here's a bouncing puck. It's kicked loose in front of the net by Gusev. So it's going to be Petrov trying to get it out of there. Petrov with 1 minute left in the penalty, but Paul Schmier is out there to clear. And the power play so far has been almost non-existent for the Soviets. Gusev again tries from center. Long shot along the boards. Now they race in. Lebedev goes around the back of the net. Don McLeod shoots it, but it hits Lebedev. McLeod goes back of the net to get a second shot away. He puts it under the stick of Vasiliev. That bounces up along the boards. Back to Vasiliev. Here's Vasiliev shooting. And that's a shot that went wide. It hit his stick, and the goalkeeper lost sight of it for a moment. Gusev into the corner. There's a shot in front of the net. It's taken by Lebedev. Back to Vasiliev. That shot is blocked. This time it's taken by Schmier. And Schmier clears it down the ice. 16 seconds left in the penalty to Andre Lacroix. It says Ralph Bäckström out there killing it off with Mark Howe. Inside the zone, this is Shadrin. And the penalty is 1 second left. It's expired. The puck is loose in front of the goal. Carried out to the side by Whitey Stapleton. Ahead to Ralph Bäckström. Bäckström with Lacroix. Lacroix takes the pass. At the line. Back to Bäckström. Back to Lacroix. At the side of the goal. They jam at it. And the goalkeeper, Tretьяк, has his foot right up against the post, and he holds it there for the whistle.
Here's a great save here by Tretьяк, and look, the Canadian player in there after the puck. The key is, though, they should have let it go just a little sooner.
13:44 remaining in this opening period. Maltsev was offside on the faceoff. Bobby Hull on left wing, Lacroix at center, and Johnny Mackenzie will be just back of the slot for the faceoff, but Lacroix lost the draw, and it comes back to Bodnov. Over to Anison. Rick White pass. Here's a breakaway. Tearing down the right side of Maltsev. Nobody to beat. He shoots on. It's picked up there by the goalkeeper, Don McLeod. And the whistle blows. It might have been for interference on Maltsev as he was on the way in. But whether it was Lacroix or...
No, well, look at this. Look at this great pass across the ice, but there's no way in the world a penalty shot should be called here. Look, he got a play on the goal. There's a shot on the net. But just a tremendous pass, and Whitey really come back.
Well, the rules. That's the score. Canada nothing, and the Soviets nothing. This is game 3 from Winnipeg.
Even if I trained until 1976, there's no way I'd make it into this Olympic Stadium in Montreal. I'm just too old. But hundreds of young Canadian athletes will be here with the help from the O'Keefe Sports Foundation. They're helping our kids prepare to meet and possibly beat the best in the world. You know, the O'Keefe Sports Foundation assists more than 35 amateur sports groups. Hey, is that any way to run a brewery? You bet it is.
Well, the referee has dropped the puck at center ice. He's indicated a penalty shot. And the rule says that you must be absolutely in the clear, in the attacking zone, before you are then pulled down and prevented from having a clear shot on goal. And let's see if he was in the clear.
Here's just a great pass. Yes, there's no doubt that he was in the clear, but really, he got the shot away, and there's no way that's a penalty shot, Johnny. But I guess we're going to have one.
Well, there's great fireworks down there at the bench. Billy Harris now has gone over to talk with the timekeeper. Now it'll have to be Maltsev, and I don't know whether or not Maltsev would have had a clear shot because Stapleton hit him, caught him from the side, knocked him off balance. Let's see if we can see that again. He took 2 more strides, or a stride and a half, and then he let his shot go, and then he fell down. And I don't know that we're really trying to rationalize the good or the bad call, but that's the way it appeared to us.
Here we'll take another look at it. Right here. There's Whitey making the dive. No doubt he did trip him, but the fact that he got the shot away, if you get a play on goal, at least Canadian amateur hockey rules, there's no way in the world that you get a penalty shot. Well, if McLeod comes up with a big save here, watch us go. We need something to spark us, Johnny. We just haven't started with that same bounce and drive that we have in the previous 2 games.
Maltsev will have to take the shot. He was the man pulled down, and he's got a lot of moxie. He's not going to take a long run. Here he goes. Going right in. He shoots and he misses. Don McLeod did not come out of the net, but he went down. And the whole Canadian bench empties as they rush over to Don McLeod.
All right, he keeps the puck out in front of him here, which gives Don some idea that he's going to be Deacon. No way he's going to be shooting from there. Now watch when he goes to his right. Watch McLeod get the pad there, force him to put it up high. He had to be dead center and up in high to get it over McLeod's pad. But, Johnny, this could be the thing that'll get us going, because certainly, as I said earlier, we just haven't started with the drive and the bounce that we really need to beat these fellas.
You feel that rhythmic applause arising with the crowd already. Here comes Bobby Hull back of the Canadian goal. Ahead now to Johnny Mackenzie, who lost control of it. Anison with Bodnov. Bodnov, number 24, takes over. Johnny Mackenzie looking for that pass, but he was too well covered by Bodnov. Feeds it across to Stapleton, out to center ice, and the Soviets take over. All those sticks are being carried a little high. Now here's Maltsev shooting, and Don McLeod goes down easily to block that run. Bobby Hull, rink-wide pass to Lacroix, and right to Mackenzie, but never got through. J.C. Trambley lost control of it, and Lutchenko has it for the Soviets. Moving up slowly is Viktor Kuznetsov, number 12. A long shot that's wide of the net. Looking for the rebound is Maltsev. He has it, but Lacroix takes it away from him. Now it's Hull going to center. He's taking the pass from Lacroix, going it over the line, looking to dump it through, and he almost got it. Oh, Lacroix went diving after it, but the goalkeeper poke-checked it away.
Did he get that pass?
Back comes Petrov. Petrov is hit in there by Johnny Mackenzie. Bodnov at the Canadian line, and Mackenzie hits him. Mackenzie throwing a lot of weight around, but he's leaving 2 men open in front of the goal. Here comes Mackenzie. Mackenzie loses the puck. It's picked up on the left side. A loose puck by Vladimir Petrov. Petrov, a good playmaking center. On the right side to Harlamov. Harlamov, number 17, poke check there by Howe. And it goes into the corner, back out to 21, Bernier. Bernier out to the line and over. Scoreless hockey game, 11:53 remaining in this period. Here comes Serge Bernier, but the puck is rolling. And as he tried to make it sit down so he can make the pass go, Cardiff and Webster were just in ahead of him. Boris Kalagin, who has made a couple of changes in his lineup, although we haven't seen Volkov, Shalamov, and the Kotov line. He's been going with 3 lines. Canada has been going with 4. Trying to keep fresh as Tom Webster breaks through. He is pulled down. He carries right on. Out to center ice to Harlamov. Harlamov at the Canadian blue line. He's bumped in there by Marty Howe. Back out in front. It is taken by Serge Bernier. Bernier. Rink wide pass to center ice to Tom Webster, too far. Harlamov. Back on the wing to Petrov, to Gusev, at the line, and he is bumped there by Al Hamilton. Howe comes from the short side of his own net. That's it. Tommy Webster overskating the puck, and Petrov has it. Back off, and it's picked up in front now by Tardif, and Tardif lost it in his skate. Taken by Al Hamilton. Hamilton in the corner, around the side of the net. It's bouncing. Hamilton shoots and hits a leg, and doesn't get through. Meanwhile, there was a Russian match going back on down in front of the Canadian net. Here's the right out in front, and Don McLeod makes a great save on Boris Mihailov. Well, they said that Don McLeod.
Here's the 2-on-1 break. 4 Canadians caught. And this is the great big problem that you're going to have. As soon as the defensemen run up and stay in and don't have a forward back them up, 2-on-1 shots, and we're in trouble.
On the face-off is Don McLeod has come through with some big ones already. The face-off inside that Canadian zone, and then it is Mark Howe turning, feeds the pass to Rick Smith, the defenseman. He goes up over there with Mike Uolton, but Uolton has it knocked off his stick at the Soviets. Led by Yuri ल्याпкин, number 5. On the wing to Yakashev. Yakashev being turned to the corner by Paul Schmier. And he's bumped by 2 men, and the puck comes to the line, but not over. It's kept inside the Canadian zone. Back in after it is Rick Smith. Rick Smith is bumped. Now he has a bit of a shoving duel with Lebedev. And the referees are in there quickly to break it up. I might point out that it was a very busy day yesterday at the Winnipeg Inn because the CAHA announced their centennial tournament, and we'll tell you more about that in a moment.
Watch young Hull and Schmier. It's checks like this that are going to get us in the ball game. Get everybody going.
It was Don McLeod who's got that good left hand. What I was saying that the CAHA, in cooperation with CCM, are going to have a junior international tournament here in Winnipeg Christmas week with 5 of the top countries in the world participating, and we're going to find out how good the European juniors are because, you know, there's only about 2 years difference in the age of each player on each of those teams, whereas here in the pro ranks, of course, there can be a great difference of age, as we know so well on the Canadian team. Now with 10 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in this period, we have the puck sliding at center ice. Still a scoreless hockey game as the Russians carry it to the Canadian line. Bruce McGregor is bumped and it goes back to the net to Whitey Stapleton. Stapleton slowly to his own blue line, looking for McGregor. But the pass went over on the right side to Harrison, who overskated it. Back over there to Shadrin, and Shadrin is knocked out of the play by Henderson, who came roaring back. J.C. Tremblay around the back of his net. He's caught back there, and Stapleton has to go in for the rescue. What a hockey player this Stapleton is. Still has it. Look, turns inside that maze of players and clears it out to center ice. ल्याпкин. A pass slide through is taken by Tremblay, who put a good move to break loose. There's a long shot as the Canadians go in for the rebound. But that was Harrison who was not able to get to it on time. Here comes Anison, number 22. His backhand shot is wide. Into the corner. The Soviets trying to set up to the blue line. But the Canadians are checking very, very close. 8.5 minutes remaining in this opening period of a scoreless hockey game as Bruce McGregor flips it to Paul Henderson at center. Harrison racing down after it. Canadians are changing on the fly. Harrison bumps into Lutchenko, but he's caught out of the play. Here come the Russians back with 3-on-2. Into the corner, it's Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov puts it in front, and it's taken by Howe. Up to the line to Lacroix. Lacroix with Bobby Hull. Here's Hull getting sent. He shoots. Oh! By the goal post. That was a snapshot. They go almost hard as a snapshot. Here's Mackenzie. Mackenzie was offside. Andre Lacroix pulls the draw back to Howe. He lost control of it, taken there by Mihailov, but Howe was victory in a hurry, and he got him just enough to knock him off stride and take the puck away from him. There goes Harlamov. At the line, shot there by Johnny Mackenzie. The puck comes back to Petrov through a maze of legs and by the goal. Vasiliev around the back of the net. High bouncing puck that's knocked out of the air. Bobby Hull took a swipe at it, and the referee Andrei Dombrowski blew the whistle for having touched the puck over the shoulder. And we get a full change coming over from the Canadian side. Some of the statistics from our game recorder, Paul Henderson attempted 10 shots on goal, all of which have been on the target. Brad Selwood and Rick Lear both +4 after the 2 games that they played. That is, when you consider or compute the goals that are scored while players are on the ice. Now we have Harlamov shooting from well out, but he's well off the target. Going in for the rebound was Mihailov, but it's taken by Harlamov. Schmir cleared to the line, but it was intercepted now by Petrov. Petrov back to Harlamov. He's turning at center ice, looking for that pass, but Petrov was too well covered, and he's stopped back in there by Schmir, who goes back of his own net. Schmir has been outstanding throughout the entire series for the Canadian team. Only in the second period of the second game did he start to throw his weight around more than Harris would like. There we go, and the number 22, Mark, trying to get through, but he did not. He was tied up along the boards, still has the puck getting set. Over to the side of the goal to shoot. Oh, and Tretchak makes a great save. Tretchak on Serge Bernier, wide open in front of the goal. Back come the Soviets inside the Canadian zone. Lebedev is having a shoving match with Lee. The puck comes back over there to number 6, Vasiliev. A shot loose, hit the goalkeeper, and he didn't even know it. Lebedev was knocked down with a penalty being called. With the score, Canada nothing and the Soviets nothing. This is game 3 from Winnipeg.
Это банк, где люди составляют разницу.
Just a tremendous screen here. If you watch this, I don't know how Maklowd made the save. Rick Smith did the right thing. Now watch. Look at the Russian move right in front. Maklowd makes a great save. Rick Smith gets the penalty.
So Canada will be a man short as Rick Smith goes into the penalty box. Now we have Yakishev in the corner. Yakishev back to Ляпкин. Ляпкин slides it through in front, and it goes wide. Firing it off the boards and down the ice is Paul Henderson. 6 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in this opening period. The scoreless hockey game as Yakishev winds up at his own line. Mark, Howe, and Bäckström out there to kill out the penalty. Inside the Canadian zone, and it's being taken over into the corner by the Soviets. There's Yakishev, hit hard in there by Paul Henderson, loose by Mark Howe. There's a shot that doesn't get through. And the Canadians are blocking well in front of that net and then turning very quickly. Minute 12 remaining in the penalty. Mark Howe, number 11, is out there with number 20, Bruce McGregor, to kill off the penalty. The Soviets are going in, and this blind pass by number 16, Petrov, which is very unusual, and the Canadians cleared. 1 minute left in the penalty, and it's Harlamov, number 17, with Petrov on the right wing. Up to the blue line, looking for the drop pass to Mihailov. Mihailov slips it through. Here's a shot that's blocked there by Whitey Stapleton, who dropped his stick to block it. Back to the blue line. Here's Vasiliev. Vasiliev shoots, and that's off the target. Ляпкин, number 5, has intercepted. Here we have a 2-on-1 break. A pass over there to Paul Henderson with Bruce McGregor. McGregor going in. He shoots. Oh, he scored! Bruce McGregor in the top left-hand corner. Now they're playing a man short. Beautiful goal in the top left-hand corner.
Just look at this. Just the dedication of staying right there in discipline. Now watch McGregor. The Russian catches him, but then stops skating. Look at that backhand shot off the post. Gets back something else. Now maybe this will spark. Here they go again. McGregor to Howe. Look at the Russian has him caught. McGregor cuts inside. The Russian didn't get next to him. Hey, that's what we've been waiting for.
What you see is what you get. Bruce McGregor. 33-year-old veteran from Edmonton who goes back to the Edmonton Oilers of the WHA. And who has played 893 professional games in his career. Gets one of the really big goals in that career right there to give Canada a 1-0 lead with 4 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the period. That's Pat Stapleton intercepting for Canada and clearing it down inside the Soviet zone. We have 5 seconds left in that penalty to Rick Smith. He steps back on the ice. Canada's at full strength in a 1-0 hockey game for Team Canada. Andre Lacroix with Vasilia. Clears it out to Johnny Mackenzie. Mackenzie going in. Over there with Howe. He shoots. And that's off the target, but the whistle had blown for the offside as the puck had gone over the two lines. An interesting statistic from our game recorder showed that in that in the second game, there was Canada won 38 out of 64 faceoffs for 59%, and then won 53 out of 93 faceoffs for 57% in the second game. Anison lost the draw, taken back by defenseman Rick Smith. Smith over to Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull inside his own zone. Leads it back there for... Oh, it bounces right at the blue line. It was almost picked off by Anison, but Schmier comes out to clear it anyway. With Andre Lacroix. 4:03 remaining in this opening period with Canada leading 1-0. Bobby Hull tries to keep it in as the Soviets with Maltsev carrying. Number 10, Maltsev, and a forward pass. It was intended for anybody. Nobody near him, but it was right on goal. Maybe that was his intent. Knocked off the boards by Andre Lacroix, coming on the right side. Johnny Mackenzie following, dumping it through to Bobby Hull. Hull races with Kuznetsov, puts it around the back of the boards, and is taken by Budanov. Budanov over to Lutchenko. Lutchenko to Anison. Anison to Maltsev, and Maltsev in a great passing combination, but the recovery by Schmier broke it all up. Back comes Victor Lutchenko. Lutchenko being shadowed by Johnny Mackenzie. What a workhorse he has been. Bobby Hull knocks him off the puck. And he recovers. Across to Lutchenko. Lutchenko head is intercepted, but it's picked up by his teammate Alexander Bogdanov. Bobby Hull catches him from behind and holds on. Now we have Serge Bernier of the Nordiques. 2:59 remaining, and here we go with Rick Smith going in over the line. The pass is taken over here by Mark Cardiff. He shoots! A great stop there by the goalkeeper, Tretjak, as Cardiff came out of the player's box, rather. And they're in there throwing elbows, led by Tom Webster.
Cardiff just stuck off the bench. Remember, and it had a real good shot. And for a moment, Tretjak juggled the puck, and look at this. The Russian comes in from behind for a change.
As Tretjak was holding the puck, Rick Smith took 2 whacks at it. He didn't hit it either time, but he didn't like the fact that he tried. Here's a shot from the blue line by Howe that goes wide. There's a shot by the goal post that comes over on the right side, and Howe goes for the body check instead of the puck, and it's taken by Yakashev. Yakashev moving inside the zone. He shoots, scores! Yakashev. That was as a direct result of a body check instead of a check inside the Russian zone that causes Canada a penalty, at least a goal.
Here you see the Russians break away. There's a good check, but look at here. Just watch the Russian get away, break the check here, and he walks in, and see how far he reaches out. He's big, long, and lanky, and reaches out so far. Here it is again. Instead of really getting a hold of that Russian, he fights off the check, reaches out wide, and picks the corner. Pretty good goal.
Yakuşev was the leading Soviet scorer against Team Canada in the 72 series with 7 goals and 4 assists. Now it's a 1-1 hockey game with 2:31 remaining in the opening period. Back comes Cıgankov. He fires it in, and Yakuşev races in after it. J.C. Trambley goes into cover. He bumps with him. Lebedev comes up with it. Out in front to Shadrin, but the shot is blocked. Coming up with it is number 20, McGregor. McGregor over to Jim Harrison, and Harrison could not get around the defense, and Tretchak finally grabs the loose puck. Pustin, who's been one of the outstanding players for the Soviet side, broke a finger in the game against Canada. The shot that hit the side of the net comes back out to the blue line. J.C. Trambley shoots, and there was a lot of people in front of that net. Just simply couldn't get through. Now it's Yakuşev with Shadrin with Lebedev at the line. Here's Shadrin getting set, a backhand shot to Yakuşev, and it's split off his stick. Canada coming back now, led here by Jim Harrison at center. Harrison at the blue line, dropped the pass for Henderson, and his relay to McGregor was too far behind. Harlamov for the Soviets at the Canadian line, stick handling by the defense, trying to turn around, and it dropped it back right out in front, and Mihайлов was not ready for it. Back for Canada comes Jim Harrison, back to the blue line to Stapleton, over to McGregor, and McGregor fires it in. Here's Henderson trying to get by, and he can't. And it's knocked back out to center ice, and Uolton takes it. Harlamov bumps into Mihайлov. Mihайлov takes that little short pass, drops it back for Harlamov, and he goes into the corner with 1 minute and 3 seconds left in the period. Back to Petrov. The shot goes wide of the Canadian goal. Cleared back out to center ice. Gusev drops it for Petrov. Petrov, 3 men up at the Canadian line. 4 Canadians back. And here goes Harlamov putting it out in front. There's a shot that hit the leg. Intercepted by Uolton and shot down the ice, but a penalty is being called. 44 seconds left in this first period.
This is what happens here. Watch Uolton get caught standing still. The Russians are flying, coming to us in waves now, and we haven't got enough fellas putting the body to them at all. And when we do get up in their Soviets end of the ice, we're getting 3 men caught. Unless everybody comes back, regroups, starts to hit, starts to come from behind the play, we're going to continue to get into trouble because more and more the Soviets are looking like the Soviet team of 72.
Uolton taking his first penalty of the series, and it's cleared down the ice by Paul Smir. A race for it with Bäckström, who's out there killing off the penalty, along with Howe. Soviets now winding up inside their own line, led by Mihайлov, trying to get the power play organized, going in over the Canadian line, fires it through. Into the corner, Petrov loses it to Rick Smith. Smith around the boards, and he flips it up into the crowd and out of play. Halll is the leading point man in the series with 3 goals and 2 assists, with Andrei Lacroix, who has 1 goal and 4 assists for each of 5 points. Yakuşev with 2 goals for the Soviets. Lutchenko, Harlamov, and Petrov each have 1. Head coach Boris Kulagin from the Soviet champions. Lacroix goes to center ice to kill off the penalty. 1:31 remaining. Bruce McGregor's out there with him, and from the face-off, is shot right out to center ice. Jam-packed Winnipeg Arena, and it's hot here this afternoon. The ice starting to get a little bit heavy already. Petrov gets in there by Trambley, tries to lay it right out in front of the net to Mihайлov, but it was off his stick. And the buzzer sounds to end the first period, with the Soviets coming from behind to get the goal by Yakuşev to tie it up at 1-1. A game where the Soviets opened up with a lot of forechecking. Canada took over. The Soviets bounced back, and with the score, Canada won, the Soviets won. This is Game 3 from Winnipeg.
I've got the manager of Team Canada, Bill Hunter. And, Bill, I know you must have been pleased to see one of your Edmonton Oilers, Bruce McGregor, snipe that short-handed goal.
It was a wonderful feeling, Al, and it's nice to see all three of our Oilers playing today, and it's another great game.
Well, your team has played just remarkably well in the series so far, but the Soviets look sharp today.
Yes, I thought that was one of their strongest periods. I think that the overall performance of our club has to be gratifying to all Canadians, and we're very proud, of course, in the World Hockey League.
You know, the World Hockey Association, it seems to me, is gaining just tons of credibility with their showing in this series.
I think, Al, this is a major single factor of projecting us squarely into the international hockey picture. It gives us the recognition, the credibility, and of course, above all, it gives us undue amounts of publicity that is just very wonderful when it all has happened in 3 short years.
Were you concerned at all about Billy Harris making quite a few changes today?
No, Billy and I had talked it over along with Pat and Bobby, and we felt that this was the game the changes should be made in. We were on a winning, we got momentum going, and believe me, after a short rest, short time between games, this was the time to get fresh legs in.
Bill, thanks very much, and good luck in the games to come.
Thank you, Al.
Now let's go back to Don Chevrier.
All right, Al, and of course the score is 1-1 after one bristling, exciting period of hockey here at the Winnipeg Arena. McGregor, while Canada was shorthanded, scored the first goal, and the great Yakушев, a couple of minutes later, tied it up for the Soviet Union. He had a penalty shot that was saved for Canada by Don McLeod. And so they're all even now after one period of play, getting set for period 2. And let's go up to Johnny Esau and Howie Meeker.
Well, the Soviet team is first out onto the ice, and we just have a telegram sent up to us. How old is the Russian goaltender, Tretьяк? Tretьяк is 21 years of age. As a matter of fact, Tretьяk was the best goalkeeper in Europe in 1971. He was the best junior in Europe right through from 69 to 71. And he's been on 3 World Championship teams, 72, 73, 74, and 1 Olympic champion. Oh, Howie, here's some coming for you. All the citizens of St. John, Newfoundland are rooting for you. Dorothy Wyatt, Mayor of St. John. There you are. Ready to go now with the second period of play. I think probably one of the conversations that took place in that intermission would be that Billy Harris telling his players about throwing that much weight around. This was one of his concerns for Al Hamilton and for Jimmy Harris. Now he has them both into the game today, and they're replacing players who are not known for going around throwing body checks, and this is not the kind of a series where body checks, particularly in the other end, is the style of play, because that's when you're going to get trapped, and that's how Canada's first goal was given up, set up by a check that was missed, and a man was set home free. So we have 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the penalty. Canada will start off playing a man short, and they're firing it in from long range. Bäckström going into the corner behind the Canadian net with J.C. Tramblé. It's blocked, and then they jam it from out in front, and it's put right out of the stick of Bäckström, and Bäckström clears it down the ice. But he tried to get that pass away to Mark Howe, and it wouldn't quite hit the target. Back go the Soviets. Now 5 of them go back inside their own zone to line up to start the power play away, but Sтэплton's there to break it up along with Tramblé. This has been a great combination for Canada, and they clear it down with 40 seconds left to go in the penalty. Mike Uolton ready to come out. Here comes Lebedev back at that Canadian line. Takes a shot, pulls it back in. Then Chasman has it too well tied up. There's a stick that's lost, so the Soviets have the advantage there again. It's like a kick out the corner by Don McLeod. It's Howe who lost his stick. Mark Howe who lost his stick when sliding in front of the shot. It deflected it down the ice, and then he went right to the player's box. So Bruce McGregor is out there to replace him with Henderson. We have 2 seconds left in the penalty, and there's a shot that goes off a stick and into the corner. Back out from the line in front. There's a shot, and they jam it to score. Left lying wide open in front of the net there was Boris Mihailov, and he simply had to bang the puck after McLeod had stopped it just as the teams had come back to full strength.
All right, now, watch the Russian standing off the goal post and the Canadian leave him. There, he's standing off the goal post. There's no chance at all for Maklowd to make the save. Here it comes back again. The pass thrown in front of the net. The Russian get home free. The man on the far side just broke down in the box, and when you do that against this Russian hockey team, you're going to be in trouble.
That was Gennady Tsygankov, number 7, the big defenseman who fired that puck into the corner, went in after it, threw it out in front, and was passed across to Mihайлov, and the Soviets go ahead, and the score is now 2-1. Now the teams are back at full strength. Bobby Hull is out there. Rick Smith feeds along. Rink-wide pass over here to Johnny Mackenzie, racing into the corner after it, but it's called for icing. Into the first minute and a half of this second period, the tempo of the game has slowed down considerably. The Russians, who seem to be coming on as they did in the first period, and the Canadians, with the advantage of having bounced back from a penalty shot that went astray, then took the lead, but have slowed down since that time. Here goes the play into the corner, and this is Lacroix bumping. Bobby Hull puts it right in front of his own net. Back to Hull at the blue line as they go out to center ice. It's Hull over the line, racing into the corner. Pulls the puck right out of the air. Put it out in front for Johnny Mackenzie. Back to the blue line to Paul Schmir. It's deflected back out to center. Rick Smith waiting for his mates to get onside. Fires it off the glass and is called offside. Team Canada 74, Tretьяk great. Canada, Russians can skate. Canada's the best. Signs all over the place here at the Winnipeg Arena. The referee is Victor Dombrowski. The linesmen are Jim LeBlanc, Canada, and Sergei Gushin of the Soviet Union. And we have 17 minutes and 55 seconds left in the second period. This is Al Hamilton feeding it inside Soviet territory. Back after it was Victor Kuznetsov, who's hit by Webster. Puck goes to Al Hamilton. Hamilton knocks it in, and that'll be offside. Second period really has never started to unwind so far, and we have 2.5 minutes gone. At center ice. Puck bouncing off the boards with Howe, flipping it through, trying to get it back, but it went to Tom Webster, and he couldn't grab it as he tried to reach for it with the gloved hand. In front of the net, back to the blue line to Maltsev, trying to get in closer, and Hamilton slides in front to block that one. Tom Webster. Webster throwing it out to center ice, but it was intercepted. He was trying to send Mark, Cardiff into the clear. Bad pass by Webster, put it right out of the stick of number 10, Maltsev. Maltsev into the corner. Bumped in there by Hamilton. Still has the puck, however. And around the side of the net goes number 21, Serge Bernier. Bernier bumped by Bodunov, then by Anison. Cardiff with Bodunov, taken by Anison, puts it in front. Back to the blue line. Here goes Kuznetsov. Fakes one shot, getting in closer, and that is off the skate. Russians are pouring it on to the Canadians inside that zone. There's a shot that's deflected there by number 24, Al Hamilton. The Soviets have it. Here's Bodunov shooting, and that's deflected by number 10, Howe. And there's really a penalty called here. Dombrowski is calling them very close. And that's Al Hamilton into the penalty box with the score. The Soviets 2 and Canada 1. This is game 3 from Winnipeg.
Nice shot.
I've made better. Want to play?
I came to play Wisconsin skinny.
That's me. You a hustler?
Nope, salesman.
Break.
Salesman, huh? What do you sell? Skittle pull.
Skittle pull by Aurora. It's a lot of fun.
All right, here's the penalty. It was about the third time that we've committed a foul in this series of plays here. Checking from behind, unless we start running into them as we have been doing in 2 games, it's going to be a long, dull, slow afternoon.
They pull that little face-off back to the blue line into the corner. Around the back of the net is Lebedev. Lebedev back to the blue line. Zhigankov, he shoots, and that hits the stick and goes wide, bouncing loose in front of the net. And the referee blows his whistle. I guess that he's having touched it over the shoulder, in which case it should come outside over that blue line because it was the Soviet player that touched it. They're taking it all the way down to the other zone because when you're a man short and you touch it over your head in the attacking zone, then the face-off will come all the way back to the Soviet zone, in this case, the attacking team. Bruce McGregor in for the draw. Lose it to Lebedev. Zhigankov, number 7. Big defenseman can skate. He leaves it there for number 15, Yakashev. Yakashev can really fly as he goes to that blue line. Back to Zhigankov. Across in front, there's a shot that's blocked. Through a maze of legs into the corner to Lebedev, tied up by Stapleton. Shadrin to the blue line. Shadrin along the boards. Bruce McGregor tries to block him, and he does. He breaks up the center with Zhigankov. But Zhigankov was too quick for him, and he broke it up. Righty Stapleton for Canada fires it deep into Soviet territory. Soviets leading 2-1 with 15:41 remaining in this period. Here's Paul Henderson waiting for one man to drop. He shoots. It's loose in front of the net. McGregor was too tightly tied up to get the rebound. At the blue line, Mihайлов loses it in his own skate, and he's knocked down by Paul Henderson with 51 seconds left in the Canadian penalty. Back over the line goes Yakashev. Yakashev being shadowed from behind by Ralph Bäckström. Over the line, it's knocked off his stick, and Stapleton clears but not out. Mihайлov has it, and it's loose to the front of the net again, but it's Bäckström finally clearing it. Bäckström around his own net. Into the corner. Mihайлov has it. And the Soviets set those 4 men in the corners. One man in front. There's a shot that's blocked by McLeod and cleared down the ice by J.C. Tramblé. Tramblé, who knows of his very clearly that he had a bad year last year. He certainly is not going to have one this year. He came into camp 10 pounds lighter. Here goes number 19, Harlamov. Harlamov puts it in front of the net. And is carried into the boards by Rick Smith. He's being poke-checked there by Mihайлov, but the referee blows the whistle and we have a face-off in the Canadian zone to the left. We have 2 seconds left in the penalty to Al Hamilton. The Soviets have not taken a penalty so far. Canada has had 1 penalty shot. Now from the face-off, it's Paul Smir. Loading to his own line as the Hamilton comes out of the penalty box, and Canada's back at full strength. Here we go, racing in there with Lacroix. Lacroix with a Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull shoots. Oh, and a great save by the goalkeeper, Alexander Tretjak, who had Bobby Hull going for that top left-hand corner.
Lacroix makes a great pass here to Hull. Just look at this. Hull's in just a little deep, but look how far back the goaltender is. Makes just a good grab.
On the face-off again, there's Bobby Hull, a backhand shot that stood just off the toe of the stick, and he couldn't really get it banging in the way. There we go, back up. There's going to be penalties here. Johnny Mackenzie was being tied up. Let's look at this one again. Mackenzie and Kuznetsov. I think they're calling doubles on them. What's the score of the Soviets 2 and Canada 1? This is game 3 from Winnipeg.
Come on, Larry, let's get the show on the road. We've been all over the place. What kind of affair is it going to be without the O'Keefe caravan? This is their dressing room, office, PA system.
Okay, wise guy. You find it.
Turn left here. Sorry. Guess we should have turned right. The O'Keefe caravan will go to any community event, if you'll tell us how to get there. Just give us a call at Sport O'Keefe.
Mackenzie and Kuznetsov in for the double minors, or the 2 minor penalties, I should say. The play is now taken by Schmier. Schmier trying to get set, but he was caught from behind, and the play is cleared down the ice. Here's Rick Smith racing in after it. Maltsev gets a whack at it, but that puck is bouncing and finally cleared to center. Gennady Zhigankov, number 7, to Harlamov. Harlamov goes back to wind up inside his own zone. Lacroix shadowing him, bumps him, but can't knock him off the puck. Oh, chasing him down the right boards. Bobby Hull has the puck as he comes up to his own line. The pass on the right side to Lacroix. There's Bobby Hull going it over that line. He's not going to get a chance to make the play to Hull because he's too well covered. Here's a backhand shot. It hit the goalkeeper's pad and then bounced off the post as Paul Schmir was open. Schmir around the back of the net trying up to Szygentov. Lacroix to Harlamov. He clears it up to Maltsev. Maltsev is back, but he's all alone. Now they set the man up in front of the net. There's a shot that's loose. As the goalkeeper, Don McLeod, puts the rebound right out in front. Back comes Ralph Bäckström. Vasiliev. He gets by him. Vasiliev bumps it in the second time. And the puck goes flying back out to J.C. Tramblé. Tramblé in over the blue line. Trying to pull the puck back to the bang. Oh, a great save by the goalkeeper, Tretjak, as Ralph Bäckström got a crack at it. Tramblé did a great job of getting the puck back out for Bäckström. Yakashev at the line with one man back. Yakashev turning, and a shot goes astray. As it's taken now by Ralph Bäckström, who tears down the left wing. He's got Walton at center. Walton took the pass, but it was on the backhand side, and he couldn't control it with that curved stick. Shadrin back of his own goal. 12:22 remaining in the second period. We have 8 seconds left in those penalties. 2-1 for the Soviets as they come up. Shadrin back over to Yakashev. Yakashev works his way to the side of the Canadian net, and is taken by the Soviets. Back to the blue line. Vasiliev. That hits the leg. There's another shot that just goes sliding by as Yakashev had it. J.C. Tramblé moves it to Yakashev. Yakashev is bumped. And the Soviets right the side of the Canadian goal. There's Johnny Mackenzie running at him and missing. Here comes Petrov coming up. There's a shot kicked out there by the goalkeeper McLeod, and there's going to be a penalty called here.
Here's Schmier's great triangle. Watch Bobby Hull create the opening here. Lacroix hangs on to it. Look at Schmir move into the opening. A good deke here, right in through the middle. At one point he had Bobby Hull wide open, but he chose to shoot the puck. Tretjak made the big save.
Nobody has gone to the penalty boxes yet. The door is still open. It looks like it was number 19, Vladimir Shadrin, the 5-time world champion. Still nobody's made any moves to go to the penalty box. Shadrin has gone to the Russian players box, number 19. He finally comes out now. He had gone to get a new stick. And he's a 25-year-old, 180-pounder who is a good hockey player, good rangy center. He scored 8 points against Canada in 72. Now, let's see. The Soviets, you know, oftentimes the Soviets are just as dangerous when they're a man short as when they're at full strength, at least in World Championship play they have been. Change of players with Szygentov, number 7, going onto the ice, and Vasiliev, number 6, coming off. Now we're set to go, and Canada has the power play advantage for the first time. Bobby Hull is out there with Paul Schmir on the defense, Serge Bernier, Mark Tardif, and Tom Webster the forward line. Here we go with Bernier at center. Over to Bobby Hull, working his way into center. His pass is right out in front. They shoot it. Tretjak goes down to make us a good save. Good save by Tretjak.
Bernier makes just a great pass to Hull. Now watch Hull cut through the middle. Bernier somehow stays onside, takes it to his backhand, and Tretjak's there again with the left leg.
Face off inside the Soviet zone. The draw goes back into the corner to Szygentov, and he just simply holds it there for another whistle. Don McLeod, in his professional career, played 105 games. He has goals against average of 3.3. Canadians inside that zone are unable to hold it in as Paul Schmir comes back for it with Bobby Hull. Now he's turning, waiting to get organized as Petrov is doing the forechecking, number 16, with Mihailov, number 13 on the left side. Here we go with Tardif. Tardif looking. Can't slide it through. Szygentov pins it against the boards and takes a bump from Schmir along the route. 12 seconds remaining in the first Soviet penalty. The Soviets continue to lead 2-1. The scoring came with McGregor from Henderson at 13:25 of the opening period. And then Yakушев and Shadrin make it 1-1. And then in this second period, Mikhailov from 7:23 mark, and thus the 2-1 lead. Ray Harris, the gentlemanly coach, next to get the rest of the players to challenge them by order. Here's the play back to Bobby Hall. Across to J.C. Trambley. Shoots! Blocked in front of the net. They bang at it as it goes wide of the goal. The Soviets come out with it. Led up here by number 16, Petrov. Over to Mikhailov. 2-on-2. Back to Petrov. Right out in front. And it gets it off the stick of Mikhailov. Bobby Hall gives him a rap. He goes down. J.C. Trambley comes up with it. Trambley, as Hall gets up and races down the left wing with Jimmy Harrison. Harrison, number 15. Stick handling. Tries to slide through. But he can't get by Vasilia. He has him too well tied up. They have it pulled against the boards, and it finally goes up into the crowd as Paul Henderson took a whack at it. Yes. Happy young man who has a souvenir of Game 3 in the 1974 Summit meeting. It'll be Jimmy Harrison, number 15 of the Edmonton Oilers, against number 11, Lebedev from Soviet for the face-off. They bang it off the boards. Henderson back to the point to Bobby Hall. Hall in front. Here they're getting set. Here's a shot. McGregor shoots. They bang at it, and Tretjak makes another sensational save.
He's watching his hand come out again. That Tretjak is something else. Here she comes over into the middle. McGregor will move in here now. Look at that left hand. Screened and everything else.
We have 25 seconds left in Shadrin's penalty, and Canada has actually had two good scoring chances. Not clean-cut, wide-open scoring chances, as they rarely are at power plays, but two good chances, and have failed to capitalize. They trail 2-1. Harlamov loses that face-off. Is taken there by Jimmy Harrison. Harrison racing around the net with Paul Henderson. Henderson fakes once, back out in front to Bobby Hull. He shoots! And blocked out in front, and here comes the Soviets racing back. It's Yakuşev with J.C. Trambley steering him into the corner. Then he bumps Shadrin. Shadrin and Yakuşev. Yakuşev is big enough, however, who can take the check and will stay on his feet. 9:46 remaining in the second period. 2 seconds left in the penalty to the Soviets. And there's big Alexander Yakuşev who pulled the groin muscle in the first game. And the way he comes back to the bench, you swear he's hurting so much he'd never go back on the ice. But that's just his move. Rick Smith, number 17 for Canada. Up to his own blue line. The teams are at full strength. It's Ralph Bäckström. Try to flip it through, and going in after it will be Uolton, but Uolton is offside. Bäckström tried to flip that little breakaway pass from outside the blue line to Uolton, but by the time he got over the red line, he was unable to reach it. Now with Schmier riding Bodnoff out of the play. The puck comes out to center ice. Coming back for it is number 3, Lutchenko. Vladimir Lutchenko, and he puts it up to the blue line. Taken here by Maltsev. Maltsev, who drags it behind him and then tries to kick it through the defense, but was unsuccessful. Lutchenko to Anison. Anison turning in his own line. Has it taken away and right back onto his own stick. Schmier goes down and pulls the puck back. Oh, it's Victor Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov, number 12. A late addition to the team this year. Goes back up to Anison. That is up in midair. He knocked it down, however. And then Howe takes a run at him. Here's Ralph Bäckström stealing the puck, and he shoots. But that was deflected wide of the net. Around the boards to Bodnov, number 24 over there on the left wing. With Anison at center. Look for the drop pass. He takes it. It's shot in front, and it's cleared. Bouncing puck is kicked off to the line and out to center ice by Rick Smith. All the way down. There'll be no icing called on this one. The teams are at full strength, and Canada is changing on the fly. Back comes the Soviet Union with Mikhailov. Shot right along the ice is blocked easily by goaltender Don McLeod. just signed a contract with the Vancouver Blazers for the coming year, so it would appear that Vancouver's goaltending problems are resolved. Petrov and Bernier will go in for the face-off. Soviets get the draw back to Vasiliev, and the shot is caught. People down the crowd, and he simply dropped it and shot it away, but the whistle had already blown, so that the referee, Victor Dombrowski, was very quick with it. It is Petrov and Bernier again. Bernier from the Quebec Nordiques with Mark Cardiff, number 22, on his left wing, and Tom Webster on the right side. 8:09 remaining in the second period. The Soviets leading 2-1 in Game 3. Back of the net goes number 10, Howe. Fires it off the boards, but it doesn't go anywhere. The Soviets clear. They get it, try to jam it from the short side. Maltsev is knocked down with the puck in underneath him as Marty Howe, number 10, the young 20-year-old defenseman, couldn't see the puck and wasn't going to take any chances, so he just flattened the nearest player near to him. Billy Harris says that Gordie Howe will definitely be ready for the game on Monday night in Vancouver. George Bernier has trouble with that puck. Finally takes it to the corner, around the back of the net. He'll put it right out in front. Here comes Tom Webster with Cardiff, but he couldn't get that pass over to him. Howe goes up to the line, intercepted and brought back out again. The Russians are roaring back. Here we come with Harlamov. Harlamov shoots, and that's high. Petrov tied up in front, picked off now by Bernier. Bernier up with Mark Cardiff. It's 2-on-2. At the Soviet blue line, a drop pass racing in. It's Webster, he shoots the score! Tom Webster! What a beautiful fake. He looked like he was going to let the flat shot of all time go, but he faked and took it in.
Now, watch Team Canada break away here, and this is a great, great drop pass. Look at this. Now look at the feint. Tretchik comes out. Maybe that's the action. Pulls it around and puts him in. Webster was just a great goal. Here it is again. The drop pass puts him 2-on-1. Walks in. Makes the fake. Tretchik comes out, and hey, maybe this will spark us. That's all we need is a little bit of spark. Come on.
Now that's a good birthday present for himself as he goes. He becomes 26 next week, and it's now a 2-2 hockey game. All Hawkeye. From New England, Tom Webster makes it a 2-2 hockey game. Here we come again with Johnny Mackenzie. Mackenzie going into the corner. Puts it back out in front. Here is Stapleton. Stapleton shooting. That's wide. Mackenzie shoots loose in front of the goal. And it's cleared as Lebedev comes back for the Soviets. 7 minutes remaining in the period. A drop pass to Shadreen, and it's high and up into the crowd. That Webster jumped a mile high after he scored that goal. And like I said earlier, Harry, it doesn't matter how long these players have been in pro hockey. When they score one in the international games, they just fly up in the air, and then they go racing for the puck and take it as a souvenir.
That's one you'll remember a long time, John. It's just a fantastic play.
On the face-off, it's Lebedev. Lebedev, long pass that goes off the board. Don McLeod stops it. And it's J.C. Tremblay putting it ahead on the wing for Johnny Mackenzie. Mackenzie let it roll off the heel of his stick. He was looking for Hull and trying to pass at the same time. Here's Yakушев. He goes in. And the shot is blocked and knocked right by the goalpost as Stapleton tried to clear. Now we have Johnny Mackenzie. And probably will be doubles fouled here as Johnny Mackenzie and Lebedev raise their sticks at each other and start. Hall was in there as a peacemaker along with the two linesmen. And what's really careful over here is they don't make 2 minutes into 5 minutes.
Mackenzie and Yakушев went at each other pretty good over on the far side. This is where it's all started. Now watch here. There was an offside. Now if the offside whistle had been blown loud enough, this wouldn't have happened. There are the two fellas trying to comb each other, and I've seen a few instances where there could be a little vicious hockey.
Well, we have 6 minutes and 36 seconds left to go in the second period. It's a 2-2 hockey game as Tom Webster just tied it up for Canada. Now Coach Billy Harris will send out Andre Lacroix with Bobby Hull on the forward line. J.C. Trambley and Pat Stapleton on the defense. Harlamov, Tsygankov, Ляпкин, and Yakушев back out there for the Soviets. This is Tsygankov, who's spun around by Hull, and Hull was spun around himself. Here it's inside the Canadian zone. Yakушев fighting for it, along with J.C. Trambley, and Hull goes in to take it. Bobby Hull in front of his own net. Back over to Trambley. Trambley waiting for Hull to cross in front of him. Now he goes to the line. He's putting it back out in front to Bobby Hull. He shoots. Oh, great save in the back of the glove by the goalkeeper. Tretjak, another shot by Stapleton, that's wide. Around here to J.C. Trambley. Trambley trying to work it to the corner to Lacroix. He shoots, and that hits the skate and goes way up into the crowd. Little Andre Lacroix, who's just been almost, he with Harlamov have been having a bit of a shoving duel. But, you know, in each of the games played so far, Harlamov could have almost been the star of the game.
Watch how Bobby Hull gets open on that play. Harlamov was right with him all the way, and then Bobby went for the big skate, and J.C. hung on to the puck as Bobby lost his check and then cut in through the middle for that great shot.
Bäckström gets the draw. Back to Uolton. Uolton to the point. The shot in front. Didn't get through. Back comes Mihailov. But there is whistle for having knocked the puck forward with the hand, and the faceoff will come inside the Soviet zone to the left. I mentioned they call Tom Webster Hawkeye. That's because he wears thick glasses, and in the game he wears contact lenses. Bäckström and Petrov, he gets the draw. Back to Uolton, back to the blue line, keeping it inside the Soviet zone. Taken by Gusev. He loses it back out of front. They shoot! Tretjak down. He made the save on Uolton. Keeping it inside the Soviet zone. Uolton going over to try to make the check. It's out to Mihailov at center, 2-on-2. At the Canadian line. The pass over there to Petrov. It's loose right in front of the goal as McLeod lost control of it. That is Bäckström very quickly into the corner. Bäckström, one of the headiest hockey players anywhere, went over and covered it up quickly to make sure that his team could get reorganized, and the best way to do that would be with a whistle. 46 seconds remaining in the penalties. It's a 2-2 hockey game. It goes back of the net. Paul Schmier can't get it. It's taken in the corner again by Schmier as it comes off the stick. Schmier fighting with Mihailov. Grabs hold of him with one hand, but the puck comes now out there to Rick Smith. Smith with Ralph Bäckström. Uolton on the left wing. Going into the line. Drop pass for Uolton. Uolton goes to the corner. And he has the puck pulled off the stick. Back out in front. And Petrov is there to intercept. 4:57 remaining in the second period. A 2-2 hockey game. Back comes Vasiliev. Vasiliev and his off wing. Back to the blue line. Here's the shot by Mihailov. The shoot. Oh, and a great goal by the Soviets as they fired it in as a beautiful setup from the right side of the goal. And the Soviets go on top 3-2.
Well, here they play that tic-tac-toe hockey that they're just so famous for. Schmier stops. Now look at the puck come back. Now watch way over. Bäckström come into the middle, and there's no way you can leave your check open like that. McLeod just had no chance. Just a great three-way passing play, forcing the Canadian players to come out of position.
Well, the Soviets go ahead for the second time in the game. It is 3-2, 4:46 remaining in this period with 9 seconds left in those penalties. Now it's Viktor Kuznetsov. At center ice with Maltsev. Back over to Anison. Anison at the Canadian line. Fakes a shot. The pass scores! Right from the face-off circle. Don McLeod wasn't even ready for it. A beautiful goal by Alexander Maltsev, who let a burning shot go just about 1.5 feet up off the ice.
Just watch the quickness in which he gets his shot away. Look at him now. Watch him. Screen shot. Faked it. There's the pass, and let her go. Second it's on his stick. McLeod's back in the net. Pratt should have been a little bit out, but that was just quite a shot. Right off the post, right along the edge.
Well, it's a 4-2 hockey game now. The Soviets are leading, and we have 4:29 remaining in the period. Here comes Anison right back again. His shot was high and off to the corner. It's Maltsev being bumped in there by Harrison. Then he's hit by Howe. And they'll have a face-off inside the Canadian zone to the left. Marty Howe, number 11, out there on defense. Number 24, Al Hamilton. And the puck is into the corner. The teams are at full strength. The shot is right on goal as McLeod turns it around. Into the corner. Howe gives him a bump. Puck comes right out in front. It comes right back onto the stick of Bodnov. Bodnov is being tied up by Henderson. Howe bumps him. And they go to the corner with Maltsev. It's loose. And it's cleared finally by Al Hamilton, or behind the goal. He's being pushed by number 24, Bodnov. Takes the long pass. Then he puts it onto the stick of Al Hamilton at center ice. Back to the Soviet zone. It's Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov at center. It's intercepted now by Jim Harrison. It's Bruce McGregor. McGregor drops the pass. Looking for Harrison to get set in front of that net. Puts it right out in front. And the shot was no good. Back come the Soviets. At center ice, led by Shadrin. Shadrin's drop pass for Lebedev. Lebedev drops one for Yakishev. Back to Lebedev, and that hit his stick and went to the back of the goal. And they get a whistle on the play. And working right down there by the Soviet bench is Nikolai Ozerov. As you see him just leaning over the boards with a microphone. Of course, there's one thing about working by your own team bench all the time. If your coach wants to go over and see a replay and see what you're doing wrong, well, I guess maybe you can do it. Whitey Stapleton behind the Canadian goal. The pass over for Tom Webster. Webster dumps a high one out to center ice. It's picked off by the Soviets. Here come the Soviets, led by Yakishev with Lebedev. Lebedev stands on the shot. And then it goes over on the far side. Lebedev down on one leg to Yakishev. Yakishev gets the second shot. And he is being left wide open in front of that net. And they're going to get caught more than this. They leave them open like that. Whitey Stapleton clears it to J.C. Tremblay. Tremblay looking for that break wide pass over here to Mark Carter, but it's called offside. Well, maybe they can turn things around. 2 years ago in this game, in this rink, Canada was leading by 2 and blew it and wound up with a 4-4 tie.
They're starting to play that famous tic-tac-toe passing game of theirs, Johnny. Just a moment ago, they made 3 consecutive drop passes, and Yakishev moved in for a great shot. But Yakishev, I think, is their leader. He's just so tremendously strong out there this afternoon, and that Harlamov is flying.
Yakishev, 6'1", he goes 183, 184 pounds. Now this is Paul Smir for Canada, being turned around inside of in front of his own goal. The Soviets almost picked that pass out of the air. Vasiliev at center ice. Taken by Smir. Smir loses it. Taken by Petrov at center. And the Soviets are just staying wide across the ice, throwing it back and forth and killing off a lot of time, keeping the Canadians disorganized. Johnny Mackenzie fires it in, and Bobby Hull goes into the corner after it. Around the boards, cleared out to Petrov. Petrov feeds that breakaway pass down that left side to Mihайлov, but he's caught by Paul Smir from behind. Out in front, Rick Smith. Smith over to Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull on the right side to Mackenzie with Lacroix in front of the net. He shoots! Oh, and the great save by the goalkeeper Tretjak on Andre Lacroix. Petrov back at the Canadian blue line. They got a man in front of the net, but Johnny Mackenzie has him tied up. On the board is Bobby Hull. Cutting at the blue line. Getting set. Goes around the defenseman Vasiliev. Puts it right out in front. And it's brought up to the blue line and cleared right out to center. Here is a race forward with Petrov and Yakishev, 2 men back. It's poke check to center ice. Here we go with Andre Lacroix and Bobby Hull, 2 men back. Going in over the line. He fakes, drops the shot to Johnny Mackenzie. To Bobby Hull. Hull cuts back into the corner. He's trying to set it up in front. It's Andre Lacroix who has it. Back to Bobby Hull, and Hull is knocked off the ball. All the way down the ice. Well, we'll call it back for icing with 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in the second period. And it's a 4-2 hockey game with the Soviets on top. Yakishev is still the scoring leader with 2 goals and 2 assists for the Soviets, while the Hull and Lacroix each have 5 points for Canada. Here's a shot, though. Oh, a shot from point-blank range by Mike Uolton, just off the target. Uolton Can't get control of it, and Yakушев comes roaring back with that big, long stride. Fakes the drop pass, goes into the corner with it, and then he does drop it. It's over there to Al Hamilton, who loses it. At the side of the net, they jam it out in front. Back to the blue line is Cıgankov. Cıgankov shoots, and then hits the leg as the goalkeeper was completely blocked. Now we have Shadrin back at the goal. Schmir has lost his stick. It bounces just wide of the goalpost again. It's back to the blue line as the Russians are banging it back and forth, and finally it's clear to the line and just out to Uolton. Uolton across to Howe. Mark Howe back over the right side to Uolton. Uolton trying to work his way in. Here it is to Howe. Howe's pass across the front of the net and back out in front, right out to Uolton. He shoots, and the rebound is blocked out there by the goalkeeper, Tretьяк. Good play with Mark Howe, Uolton, and Bäckstrem as they set that three-way combination all the way in.
And Tretьяk again, watch, look at Walt right in the slot. He's been living in the slot for the last 3 games, and Tretьяk comes out. Here it is again, right in through the middle. Coming in late, nice pass to Howe. Howe should have been shooting there. We're lucky to get it back out in front. Back out in front, good shot, good save.
5 seconds left to go in the second period with the Soviets leading 4-2. It was a 1-1 hockey game at the end of the first period. McGregor and Yakушев splitting goals. Then Mihailov at the 1:23 mark of this period, followed by Webster, who tied it up at 2-2. Then Vasiliev and Maltsev to give the Soviets the 4-2 lead. Even with only 5 seconds left to go in the penalty, Barry Harris makes sure he wants the right combination out there because he'd like to get one shot off at his face-off. And he sends Bobby Hull out there. Hull will be just outside the face-off circle with Jimmy Harrison, who's good on the draw. They'll try to pull it back to him to get the shot away. Maltsev, number 10, is ready and waiting. Harrison is not ready to move in. And then you'll see just there in the radio screen is Bobby Hull. And try to pull it back there. They do. He shoots. Oh, this went by the post. The strategy was perfect. The shot was just off the mark. Al Hamilton bumping into the Soviet player as the buzzer sounds to end the second period of play with the Soviets on top by a pair. They came roaring back, giving indication in the first period they'd be tougher in the second, and they were. With the score of the Soviets 4 and Canada 2, this is Game 3 from Winnipeg.
Well, for the first time in the series, Canada finds themselves 2 goals behind with only 1 period to go. And here in the stands, not too much panic. What do you think of the game so far?
Well, it's a good game. Real good game.
Are the Canadians going to pull it out?
I don't think so, no.
You don't think so tonight, eh?
Next, Vancouver, maybe.
Vancouver, maybe. What's your impression so far, sir?
Well, I think it's a fantastic game. The bodily contact is outstanding. There really is a lot more hitting than the first 2 games. They're playing well. But the Russians are really skating much better this game than they did the first 2 games. And it's going to be a tough goal for us, but I have every confidence Team Canada is going to come through.
Good for you. Can I lean over your shoulder, sir? What's your impression so far, sir?
I think the pace is beginning to tell on the Canadians. I'm pretty tired.
Yours? I think the Russian goaltending is different. It's really good. Yeah, he's terrific. His balance is incredible. What's Canada's chances in the third period?
I think they're pretty good. I think they'll come back and win it. 5-4.
5-4. There's an impression. 5-4. A 3-goal third period for Canada. Well, we'll see in just a moment. Right now, let's go over to Don Chevrier.
All right, Al, the fans not quite as happy here with crowds to be quite as happy in Winnipeg. They're enjoying this game, as I'm sure everybody is from coast to coast here this afternoon. Right now, the Russians in front by the 2 goals, 4-2. Those 2 lightning-quick goals, just 17 seconds apart, around the 15-minute mark of the second period, have meant the difference so far. Now let's get set for play-by-play action in period 3 with Johnny Esau and Howie Meeker.
Both teams are out on the ice and taking their last little warm-up before we start the third and final period of game number 3 in this Team Canada 74 versus the Soviet Union. From here, the teams will move on to Vancouver, and the game will be played at 5 o'clock Vancouver time. I rather suspect that Billy Harris will be making more changes, but before that game, the 4th game of the series, and then they'll head right from there to Helsinki, stay in Helsinki, play practice there, play against the Finnish national team go to Gothenburg, Sweden for one game, and then go into Moscow. And the games in Moscow are on the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th. And, of course, they will all be televised with the best wishes of our sponsors here on these telecasts. 27-22, the shots on goal. 27 by the Soviet Union, 22 by Team Canada. And the Soviet Media Award, the Caprice Award, will be given to the Canadian player and to the Soviet player for gentlemanly conduct after 4 games in Canada, and then another award after 4 games in the Soviet Union. So here we go with game number 3, period number 3. It's 4-2 for the Soviets, and the Canadians hopefully will come out on fire. Here we go with J.C. Trambley, back of the Canadian goal. Trambley ahead now to Johnny Mackenzie. Mackenzie to Lacroix. Lacroix at center, looking for help. He's all alone. A pass on the right wing. And Johnny Mackenzie took a whack at it, but lost control of the rolling puck. It's fight battle for it. There was J.C. Trambley putting it across for Johnny Mackenzie, but he would not. Here's a 2-on-1 break. Here's Harlamov. And it's broken up there by Pat Stapleton, who intercepted the pass. Back comes Lacroix. The pass on the wing intended for Hull did not get through. Mihайлов, and the Russians are flying. Here it is, back out in front. They shoot. Oh, and Mihайлov standing at the corner, tried to tip it in, but knocked it wide. The Soviets still have control inside that Canadian zone. Canadians are not clearing. Looks like, almost like they're playing a man short. Bobby Hull knocks the stick away from Vasiliev. Back out in front of that blue line. Here's a shot, but didn't get away. Another one by Gusev off the skate of Johnny Mackenzie. Mackenzie goes after it. That's center ice. Mackenzie's all alone as they're changing players. Mackenzie goes into the corner. He has the puck knocked off his stick, and it comes all the way back down to Canadian territory. That's Pat Stapleton looking for help. Starts to carry the play himself. Up there on the wing to Paul Henderson, trying to get by Vasiliev. Puck bounces high in the air. Henderson has it over to Harrison, right out in front. And Bruce McGregor was standing there, but the puck wouldn't get onto his stick. As Yakashev tries to split that defense, it's knocked away by Henderson. Henderson is stopped at center ice. Back comes Yakashev again on the left wing to Lebedev. Lebedev waiting for somebody to park in front of that goal. And it's Yakashev back to Lebedev. And it's knocked into the corner. This time it's Yuri Lebedev. He puts it right out in front, and it's taken by Jim Harrison. Harrison dangerously close to his own goal crease. Here's the play. Yakashev, he shoots, and that goes right over the top. Bounces off the glass, and finally Schmier shoving Lebedev. It goes into the corner. Lebedev comes up with it, hit there by Henderson. Russia's still inside that Canadian zone. The Canadians cannot get it out of there. Another shot. Oh, and this was Yakashev who tried to steer it behind him into the net, and the Canadians finally clear. 7:40 remaining in the first 10 minutes of this first half of the third period. Yakashev over that Canadian line. Back to Lebedev. Over to Shadrin. Shadrin out in front, and that is blocked. He scores! Don McLeod was sliding across on that backhand shot to try to block it, but he got there too late. The puck went in underneath him, and it's now a 5-2 hockey game. And that had to happen because the puck never came out of that Canadian end for so long.
Just watch these fellas throw the puck around. They're just something else, aren't they? Look at that deep. Now the backhand shot, McLeod falls, and as he falls, it's a hole between his legs, and it hit the inside of his pad and popped in. But certainly the Russians are throwing that puck around just like they own it. It's got to be passing hockey at its very, very best.
Well, the Soviets take a commanding 5-2 lead, and this is Al Hamilton on a left wing pass to Mark Tardif, and it didn't get through. Yakashev gets yet another one. Back forward is number 10, Marty Howe. On defense for Canada, across to Al Hamilton. Hamilton turning when he can't see a clear avenue. He turns and goes back rather than fire it in. Now is a race for the puck. This time it's Webster losing the draw. And it's called back. And Tretjak came out of there and stopped the puck, but it's called back for icing. All the way into the Canadian zone on the right side. Canada has scored the opening goal in all 3 games, and in the 2 previous games they've been able to hang on to it, but in this game they fell behind, got tied up 2-2 in the second period, and then dropped 3 in a row. They held up momentarily as the referee, Victor Dombrowski of the Soviet Union, picks up something off the ice. Anison in there for the draw with Serge Bernier. This is Howe around the back of his own net. He knocked Rodnov down. Play carries right on. And the play comes up to Tom Webster. Webster inside the Canadian line. Back across to center ice. Webster couldn't get back to it. Now it's taken by Bodnov, but it's called offside, and the face-off will come back to where the offside pass originated, inside the Soviet zone to the left. And their fans on hand. The Jets are in training now, ready for their season to begin. Here comes Harlamov racing down over that Canadian blue line, but Stapleton's there to take it away, gives it to Mike Walton. Walton breaking in over that line. He's got back. His Backstrom behind him. He shoots! Backstrom shoots wide. A combination with Backstrom and Walton, but they haven't been able to finish anything. Here's a play inside the line. There's a shot that's deflected wide of the Canadian net, goes into the corner. Backstrom bumps with Petrov, and the puck goes up into the crowd. So Yakушев scoring the goal. That now gives him a total of 3. He has 3 goals and 3 assists, and he becomes, well, actually 3 goals, no assists. He is tied with Bobby Hull as the leading goal getter. But Hull with 5 points is the leading point getter. J.C. Tremblay. Right wide pass intended for Stapleton or Howe. It comes back to Stapleton. Stapleton's pass to Walton, and the Canadians are not very sharp in their passing at all. They're throwing them wide. They're bouncing them over the sticks and having to reach back for them. Here come the Soviets, led by Petrov. Petrov gives it to Vasiliev. Vasiliev, a defenseman, lets the shot go. He's a good puck-carrying defenseman. Good speed. Here we come again with Canada being led by J.C. Tremblay. Can't get out of his own zone. Tremblay with Walton down the right side. Dumps the pass through, but again it's off the target. It's picked up by Tremblay. Over here to Jerry Backstrom. He goes right in. They bang at it. And it does not go in. Right across the goal mouth. And it's all the way down to the Canadian zone. And this will be called back for icing. Incidentally, for those of you who may be wondering about icing with a man short in international hockey, they never used to be able to do that, but 2 years ago that rule was changed to suit North American standards. So the rules are pretty well the same as CHL hockey. Now the crowd rises to try to turn on the Canadian side, which means a little bit of get up and go right about now as Yakuşев comes out of there with Lebedev and Shadrin up to that Canadian line. Johnny Mackenzie knocks the Yakuşев down, but he's still got the pass away, and they hold it at that Canadian line. Here's Andre Lacroix. He can't get to it. Gets back to the blue line. This time it's Paul Schmier. Schmier goes down. The puck is taken by Lebedev. Lebedev is turned around by Bobby Hull. Still has it. Hull knocks him down. Yakuşев comes up with it. Hull loses control of it. That is taken by Lacroix. Lacroix gets it out. Then he is knocked down heavily by the Russian player Tsygankov, number 7. Vladimir Lutchenko. Feeds that pass to Shadrin at center. Yakuşев, number 15 at the blue line. Tries to cut through. He does! And that's the stick of the goalkeeper, John McLeod. Shadrin has it. Canadians intercept. Johnny Mackenzie's backhand pass was too far ahead. And the Canadians are playing most of this game inside their own zone as the Russians are tying them up completely. Here comes the Schmier bumping with Lebedev. And the whistle blows as they break it up very quickly. I mentioned earlier, CCM's sponsorship of the new World Junior Tournament exemplifies the dedication to young Canadian players in action, both amateur and pro. And that tournament announced by the CHA, President Jack Devine, here in Winnipeg at a press conference yesterday. So there's more international action over the Christmas weekend. Here's a breakaway. Here goes Paul Henderson, and he shoots. Oh, and Tretjak robs him. A wide open breakaway for Paul Henderson, and Tretjak came right out to the front of that crease, and watch this replay.
The pass here, just watch that great pass to Henderson, who goes over the blue line home free. Look at Tretьяk stand out there. Just stood right out. Another instance, I would believe, where Henderson might have had a little more success had he faked the shot and make the draw.
Now racing down that right side to catch up with that puck. Lose it to Anison. Anison, number 22. His shot is blocked by Marty Howe, but they still have it inside the Canadian zone. Back after it. Bodenoff, number 24, hit by Al Hamilton, 24. Anison runs into Mark Howe. And it's carried back to the net by Bruce McGregor. McGregor, number 20. And really shattered in there. As the Soviets know, they have the Canadians on the run, and they're finding new strength, new good legs. Here's Bodenoff, has it taken away from him. Bruce McGregor coming up there with Henderson on the wing, and Harrison pass bounced right across, and because it was hit and tipped, it delayed enough to go over offside. Billy Harris, you can't tell whether he's ahead 5-2 or behind 5-2. Yeah, he shows absolutely no emotion at all. Now the Canadians with Mark Tardif out there on the forward line. Back to his defense mate, J.C. Tramblé, but it's taken away from him by Petrov. Going in with Mihайлov back out. And shoots on a great save by Don McLeod, who had to go right from one side of the net to the other. Great play by Don McLeod as the Canadians now led it here by Tom Webster. Webster. He's that pass in to Mark Tardif, but Tardif was offside. We have 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the first 10 minutes of this third period.
Certainly had to show you this again. Watch the Russians take the puck off of JC, and look at him throw this thing around. And McLeod comes up with another great save. He's played extremely well this afternoon.
Face off at Sunrise. Mihайлov fires a long pass into Canadian territory. J.C. Trombley takes a look behind him as he goes in for it. Back over there to Bernier. Bernier loses it. Here's a shot that's bouncing as it hit the goalkeeper's stick and went into the corner. McLeod did not have control of it. Here come the Canadians back at center ice, but that puck is rolling and they can't seem to make a play with it. Petrov, and it's picked right out of there by Mihайлov, and the whistle blows. 12 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the hockey game. Canada trailing 5-2. Ralph Bäckström at center ice. Rick Smith comes up to help him out with the draw over to Uolton, going in over that blue line. Uolton cutting in on his off wing, puts the raw shot right in front of the net, and Tretьяk deflected it. Back to the blue line. Here's Paul Schmier shooting. It's blocked in front of the net. Back to the blue line again to Rick Smith. Smith over in front. Taken now by Howe. Howe shoots! And Tretьяk stopped it, but he didn't even see it. Uolton has it. Against the board. Mike Uolton stayed right back, hoping that the official would call him for delaying the game, because Uolton was not holding the Russian player who was holding the puck. That's what the fans were excited about. Ralph Bäckström gets the draw, flips it in, and going in after it is Lutchenko. Bäckström takes it right away from him again. Bäckström is a real bulldog out there when he goes after that truck. Here comes Yakuşev, and look at Bäckström stay right with him. Knocks the helmet right off him, and then he takes a run at Lebedev. Here comes the puck in front of the net, and the penalty is going to be at least whistle blows. Be an indication of a penalty as the Uolton was breaking right in on goal.
Just look at this Bäckström. It started over in this corner. Takes the hat right off the Yakuşev. Look at here. There's Bäckström. Great pursuit. He's after a man that certainly played extremely well this afternoon. There goes the helmet. Checking like that a little earlier in the game certainly would have helped.
Ralph Bäckström's been around a long time, but it certainly hasn't taken the toll of his legs. You know, he started with the Montreal Canadiens back in 56, 57. And so he's been around a long time, but boy, can he hustle. Here is Uolton putting that puck onto the stick of Anison. Back to Maltsev on the right side, trying to stick Cattle through. He shoots. That deflected off the goal. Then they bang it in on the rebound. Ron McLeod made the save. The rebound came out. The puck looked like it had gone by the red line, past the net at an impossible angle, but the shot still went in.
Russians are really flying. Look at him take the pass. Great shot here. Good save. McLeod made the save, but he went down. Now watch the Russian pick it up. It hits McLeod and hits the top of his stick and bounces in the net. Just take a look at this. There's the save from a bad angle, hits the stick, and in she goes.
Bodnov looked like he had gone too far, but he had not, and that's now a 6-2 hockey game as the Russians take a commanding 6-2 lead, and we have 1 minute and 16 seconds remaining in the first half of this third period. Getting kind of stingy with their assist there, Howie. That was a shot and a rebound, and he scored on the rebound, and still no assist was given on it.
Certainly there should be an assist. There's no doubt about that, Johnny. But that was a pretty good shot. And it's just one of those things that when you go down to make the save, then you always run the risk of that puck being able to go in over top you.
Now from the face-off, the puck comes back to Kuznetsov. The Russians all back up inside their own blue line now to get reorganized. Now they feed it ahead as Bodnov gets up speed. Bodnov is hit hard there by Al Hamilton. The stick flies away down to center ice. Doesn't know where it is. Here comes Lacroix with Johnny Mackenzie going in over the blue line to Bobby Hull. And it's back to Lacroix again. Lacroix being tied up by Vasiliev. Goes into the corner. Johnny Mackenzie fires it around the boards to Howe. And he can't get a shot. Mackenzie has it again. Mackenzie turning into the corner. Vasiliev tries to tie him up. It's Andy Lacroix. Fires it around the back of the net. And the Soviets come flying out with Bodnov. Taken back here by Al Hamilton. Hamilton dumps it across to Howe, to Hull. And Bobby Hull slowly winds up behind his own net. Now it's Al Hamilton coming out on the left wing. Forward pass to Andre Lacroix to Bobby Hull on his off wing. And it's poke check down the ice. Actually, it wasn't poke check. He took a swing at it and knocked it down the ice. And it goes as an icing call. Marty Howe, a young defenseman, 20 years of age, a good hard shot. Not a great rushing defenseman, a good defensive defenseman. Seconds remaining in the first 10 minutes of this period. And Coach Billy Harris calls over Jim Harrison and Captain Whitey Stapleton. The goal down. Up there for the Soviet. Number 2 is big Alexander Gusev, a big tough defenseman. And the Shadron, they've gone with 3 lines pretty well. Canada's been going with 4. Harrison gets the drop back to Stapleton. Stapleton shoots just wide of the net, and Tretchak comes out back to the goal to pick it up because Henderson was going in after it. Well, in the first 2 games, the 4 good lines for Canada were better than the 3 good lines for the Soviet Union, but today, those 3 lines of the Soviets are being able to outlast our 4. Number 7, Lacroix, with 16, Petrov. The linesman Gusev drops the puck. It's back to the blue line. There's a shot. Oh, and Tretchak went down and got it on his elbow. And the buzzer sounds to end the first 10 minutes of this third period. Will change ends, as is the norm in international competition. It's Andre Lacroix fighting with somebody. The amazing thing about this is from the fact that they have not argued very strenuously about penalties at all. This is the one thing Billy Harris stressed. With the Soviets 6 and Canada 2, this is Game 3 from Winnipeg.
Believe me, when we light the Olympic torch on this site in 1976, everyone will share in Canada's pride. You and I can help participate in Canada's first Olympic Games and make them a great success by buying these beautiful sterling silver Olympic coins. 7 sets of 4 coins each are being issued. Series 2 is available now. Order your coins today. The minting is limited. Olympic coins are available at banks, financial institutions, and authorized coin distributors. Now as we start the second half of the third period, it's Whitey Stapleton shooting it in from long range, and it's all or nothing from here on in for the Canadians in game number 3. It's Mikhailov coming up on that left wing for the Soviets. Up to the blue line, where he overskates the puck, then goes back and gets it. Good shot. Top by Don McLeod, holds on for the whistle. Problem, of course, of putting together a team is trying to get everybody into the lineup, which means you're using combinations which are not too familiar with each other, as is the case here today. Here goes Jim Harrison down the right boards, bumped out of the play by number 19, Shadrin, over to Lebedev. Lebedev at his own line. He can't get out. And it's taken back and out there by Yakishev. Yakishev with Shadrin. And it's Stapleton going back into the corner. Stapleton has had a lot of ice time out there today with J.C. Trambley. The pass over in the left wing intended now there for Paul Henderson. Henderson racing in. He goes in and shoots. And Tretchak once again made another fine stop. Henderson has had 3 or 4 good chances. Here's the play right out in front. Henderson again, but it rolled off the heel of his stick. Back come the Soviets, led down the left wing by big Alexander Yakishev. Yakishev fakes the shot, has it knocked off his stick by J.T. Tremblay. And then Tremblay is stopped. Yakishev again at the Canadian line. Works his way right in front of that net. He shoots. He scores! Yakishev let a bullet go that Don McLeod didn't even see. And he now has his hat trick. Alexander Yakishev. Watch this bullet.
The number of goals that he's got. He's just played a terrific hockey game. Look at him throw it up in high and pop it in on the short side.
Let Yakishev roam across the front. He just went straight across the front of the net, took his time, let the shot go, and it was just too hard. It was by McLeod before he made the move. Now it's a 7-2 hockey game with Serge Bernier being stopped outside his own line, at the Russian line rather, with Bodnov coming up with it. Bodnov with Anison. His shot is right on. McLeod catches it and throws it back in the net. Taken by Maltsev. Maltsev getting set with a backhand shot that McLeod shoots to the corner. Back over to Lutchenko. Lutchenko is stopped. Now it's cleared out to center ice. 8:04 remaining in the hockey game. 7-2 for the Soviets. And back and behind the net we have Serge Bernier with Rick Smith. Smith pass too far. And it's picked up here now by number 12, Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov knocked off the puck by Paul Schmier. Schmier racing in after it, flips it down, and then he's being hooked along the way by Kuznetsov. He finally takes a whack at him with his hand. Now let's see if this is all the way down. He was taking a whack at Schmier, and Schmier retaliated. Let's see whether they caught the original call or the retaliation, and I think they caught the original. The score, the Soviets 7 and Canada 2. This is game 3 from Winnipeg.
When you take off, don't be leaning into the dive. Stand it up. Move it in.
I coach diving, and one of the ambitions of my divers and myself is to win medals in Olympic Games or international competition. And through the O'Keefe Sports Foundation, this is something that is now, I feel, a possibility.
Carling O'Keefe, is this any way to run a brewery? You bet it is.
Canada has so far taken 6 penalties and had 1 penalty shot. The Soviets have just taken their 4th penalty, and that's Victor Kuznetsov in the penalty box. So Canada now with the power play. There's a shot. It's blocked by Tretchak. Back out to the point to Bobby Hall. He flips a high shot that hits a sign that says Bobby over there in the corner of the rink. But the Russians are not giving them the time to just to get set and make those soft passes and hard shots that you'd like to have on power plays. What they're doing is we're rushing at them and making them hurry. Here's a clearing pass to center ice as Pat Stapleton turns with it. Gets it up ahead. He's got the play carries right on, and so the Canadians lose control of it. Back for it for Canada. Mark Howe, number 11. Starting out on the right side. Trying to set up this power play with Ralph Bäckström and Bobby Hull. And he stopped at center ice by Anison, and Anison simply fires it down the ice. Back for it goes past Stapleton. He's killed off 40 seconds of the penalty so far. Now right wing pass intercepted again by Anison at center ice. So the Canadians will have to try once more. This is Mark Howe around the back of the net as he took a pass from goalie Don McLeod. And it's out to Bobby Hull. Here's Hull racing down center ice, cutting over on the right wing, trying to get by Petrov, works his way into the corner, tries to get around the back of the net, still has it, works his way out in front, back to the corner to Howe. Howe out in front, takes it across to Mike Walton. Walton shoots! Oh, that's wide. Not the time this time, and here's a breakaway as the pass comes up to Petrov. Petrov with Boltsev, only one man back at Walton, he shoots! And that's saved by the goalkeeper, Don McLeod. It's back to the blue line. Held in now by Bobby Hull with Ralph Bäckström. Hull going to center ice, ahead to Bäckström. Bäckström slides it through, still has it. Back over now to Mark Howe. Mark gets set, he shoots, and that's wide of the front of the goal. Mike Walton with Mark Howe. Back to Walton, right out in front. They jam at it, but the goalkeeper, Tretjak, had the goalpost blocked completely. 10 seconds left in the penalty, and as a race for it with Vasiliev and Rick Smith, number 17. Vasiliev carries Rick Smith heavily into the board, and the play comes out to the corner. It's Petrov. Petrov in front to Gusev. And Gusev, before he can shoot, is blocked. Here we come now on the left side. Up there with Paul Henderson. McGregor loose in front of it. He shoots! He scores! Paul Henderson. What a blistering shot goes. I think Tretjak was caught looking for Bruce McGregor on the right side.
Henderson with the puck. He's got a winger with him, and I think this time Tretjak's kind of looking for the pass. And look where he's playing. Henderson picked the short side, really threaded the needle with him.
Soviets over Canada. 5:29 remaining in the hockey game. And now the Soviets finally getting their second power play goal. It's Paul Schmir inside the Canadian zone. Trying to start the play away to Paul Henderson, but they're all whacking at it. Nobody seems to be able to get very far with it. Picked up, and it hits Paul Henderson from behind. Henderson fires it off the boards to center. This is Vladimir Lutchenko. He has it taken away from him by McGregor. Going in with Jimmy Harrison. One man back in front of the goal. He shoots. Oh, and it's blocked. They bang at it. Score! Paul Henderson came right back and got the rebound. Make it 7-4. Paul Henderson.
Here's McGregor coming in here. Look at, gets a pretty good play at the net. And now watch here. Henderson come in late. There goes the rebound out through the middle. Nobody picked him up. And he gets his second in a row. Here it comes again. Right with him. Tretjak makes the save. It goes down. Pops it up over top.
It's hard to beat Tretjak the first time. You've got to grab him on those rebounds. Hockey game, 4:53 remaining, and the Canadians come roaring back with Tom Webster. Webster fires into the corner. Serge Bernier goes in after it, holds him against the board for the whistle. And Henderson scores 2 quick goals. McGregor and Harrison were given assists on the goal by Paul Henderson. Scored 14:31 and 15:04. Mark Cardiff in for the face-off. The teams are at full strength to face off in the Russian zone to the left. They pull that draw back. It's out to the line. Brought out there on that left wing and fired right across to Maltsev at the Canadian line. Maltsev cutting in front of the net, and he has his puck knocked off his stick, and he still was able to get control of it and let a weak shot go. Here is Cardiff hitting the Soviet defenseman Vasiliev and knocked the helmet off him. Now with number 24, Al Hamilton, with Serge Bernier, who overskates it back of his own net, so Hamilton has to do it. Ahead to Mark Tardif. Tardif's pass didn't go anywhere. It's racing up there now with Howe, Bernier. The Russians are checking very close. Rink-wide pass over to Al Hamilton. Back out in front to Tardif. Tardif racing in. Back over in front to Bernier. He shoots. Oh, the puck scores! Tretьяк caught it and lost it. Makes it 7-5. Bernier and Tardif. What a great combination.
Well, Canadians throwing the puck around extremely well here. Just watch this great pass. Now here, look, instead of shooting himself, throws it out and takes the far side. Just gets his glove on it. Look at it, drop loose, bouncing behind him and into the net. He had it in his hand and lost it. Here's the pass again. Now watch this great drop pass. Coming in late. Good shot. Out of the hand. Bounced into the net.
There's Bernier's shot. And that now makes it a 7-5 hockey game with 3:59 remaining in the game. Here goes Paul Schmir. Over there with J.C. Trambley. With Bobby Hull. Now it's Schmir starting up at his own line. A rink-wide pass hits the linesman of Johnny Mackenzie with Andre Lacroix. He can't keep it in. It comes out to center. Bobby Hull with J.C. Trambley. At the line. The pass does not go anywhere. J.C. Trambley has to fire it out to center. Bobby Hull racing all the way down, but it'll be offside. 3 minutes, 33 seconds left in the hockey game. 7-5 is the score. I think that's the most goals I ever recall in one game with any Canadian team against the Russian team in modern times. Now, Kalagan, George Kalagan fouls over 6 Vasilia, 16 Petrov, 17 Harlamov, and 2 Gusev for his strategy in the remaining 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Hull, Mackenzie, and Lacroix on the forward line. Trambley and Stapleton at the defense. Vasiliev, rink-wide pass. They fake the shot and let the pass go. Now it's back and forth. They're killing off time. And tic-tac-toe is how he talks about. Back to the blue line. Vasiliev over to Shadrin. And it's picked off now by Pat Stapleton. Stapleton over to Mackenzie. Mackenzie shoots. Rebound right out in front of him. Nobody there to get it. It's held in there by Bobby Hull. Over to Lacroix. Back over to Mackenzie. Mackenzie is knocked down. The play goes right on, and the goalkeeper had to make a save. Another shot by Bobby Hull, and Tretьяк stopped that one. Back into the corner, Johnny Mackenzie fights for it. Now it's up to the blue line. It's held in there by Pat Stapleton with tremendous effort. Out of the corner, it's Vasiliev. He's hit in there by Lacroix. It's not in. They hit it, but it did not stay in. And back comes J.C. Trambley with Pat Stapleton. Stapleton, oh, he shoots right on his own net. Wow. Out in front. Now this time the Canadians try to set Bobby Hull in motion. Bobby Hull on the pass on the left side with Bruce McGregor. McGregor into the corner, takes a look back. Gets away from the defenseman. Now he puts it back over here to Whitey Stapleton. He shoots and that puck hit his stick and went high into the corner. Bouncing the puck around the boards. They finally hold it for the whistle with 2:13 remaining. Wow, they did one more goal. Think of the finish.
Quite a great job. It was good popping on the one. It's too bad that pass to Bobby Hull a few moments ago was offside, or he might have got in and tucked one in. I don't think Canada deserves to be within 2 goals of the Russians at this point, but come on, if we get another one, maybe we can send her into overtime.
2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the hockey game. Here's Jimmy Harrison in for the face-off. Harrison loses the draw, taken by Lutchenko. Lutchenko and the Canadians keep it in. There's a shot right in front of the net. They bang at it. As Henderson reached in the air to pull it down. Back comes Vladimir Lutchenko at center right. The pass on the right side to Lebedev. Lebedev, number 11, trying to get by Smir. He cuts in front of the net. He bangs at it. And that hit the goalpost. The red light goes on. The puck is in the net. Lebedev had McLeod going down, and he cut him back on the short side. Lebedev. Lagan was talking to his team. I don't even know if he saw that goal or not.
All right. Watch Lebedev here. Just fight off the check. not very often that anybody's got around Smith. Look at there, just a great straight move. He waited for McLeod to go all the way from the post and touch it up on top. Here it is again. Look at that. Good goal.
That's the seventh goal of this period. It's now an 8-5 hockey game with the Soviets leading. As we just about wrap it up for the Soviets. And now from the face-off, back across to Paul Schmir. Schmir feeds it to center ice. Puck is knocked off the stick of McGregor, and it's cleared back out to center. Here comes Yakishev. Yakishev cutting across, but he lost the puck. Back goes Shadrin. He's checked out of the play by Paul Schmir. Henderson at center ice, cutting over on the right wing. At the blue line, he fakes a shot, then let it go. He pulls the trigger slightly. Here it is out in front of the net again to Bruce McGregor. McGregor trying to put it out in front, and Henderson couldn't get a stick on it. Minute 26 remaining. And here comes Rick Smith. Rick Smith with Bruce McGregor. McGregor has it knocked off of his stick. On the board. Paul Schmir has it. Given now over there on the right side to Mark Tarda. Tarda works his way through, works his way in front of the net. Here's the backhand shot. That's wide of the net. It goes up over the glass and into the crowd. 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining. 8-5. The score at the end of the second period. It was 1-0 at the end of the first. It was 4-2 at the end of the second. And now it's 8-5 here with 1 minute and 4 seconds to go in the third period. Lutchenko is off for tripping, and so with 1 minute and 4 seconds left, the Soviets will finish the game with 1 minute and 4 seconds left. And the Soviets will have a 3-goal lead, 8-5. We want Bobby. Well, it's going to be Hull, Harrison, and Bernier, Stapleton, and Tracy Trambley back on the defense. Bernier will go in center for the face-off with Petrov, but back to Mark Tarda. Tarda with Stapleton. Stapleton into the corner, and they're having trouble getting it set up. The Russians checking too tightly and hold on for a whistle. Seems to me, Howie, that they're hesitating on the power play. They're waiting and taking a look to see where they should throw it to instead of automatically throwing it.
Well, we're trying to get picture goals. We're trying to put the star in the slot with the puck all the time, and you just can't do that because the Russians are taking the slot away from it.
From the face-off, the puck slides in over the blue line, but it comes right out again, and Petrov slides it down the ice. Mark Tarda hurt himself. He was hit on the face. He's still away down in the Soviet zone, and now he comes back into the play. He's going in over that line with Mike Uolton in front of the net. Uolton shoots a great save by the goalkeeper, Tretyak. But it was called offside with 38 seconds to go. Billy Harris still has the Bernier, Webster, Cardiff line out there for the remaining 38 seconds of this power play. Puck is taken by Stapleton, back to Bobby Howell. 8-5 is the score with the Soviets leading, and the puck is knocked off the stick of the goalkeeper with the goalkeeper, at least with the goalkeeper out of there. The puck is knocked right in front of the net, and here comes Stapleton taking a shot, shoots it in. The Canadians move 5 men up, 6 men up over that blue line now. The puck comes over to Mike Uolton. Uolton dumps it back across to Stapleton, and can he hold it in? He does. Into the corner. And that's Cıgankov bumping the Canadian player there, and they start raising their fists, but the referees were in there quickly to break it up with only 4 seconds remaining. The frustration coming out on the Canadian side. And there's a look at the Russian bench all ready to jump over the boards because it'll even up the series at a game apiece. They opened with a 3-3 tie in the first game. Canada won the second game 4-1. And now the Soviets are leading this game 8-5 with 4 seconds to play. So we go into Vancouver. All tied up. Canadian net is still empty. 6 men are up there. They hold it against the boards, and we have no time left. The whistle blows. The game is all over. And the Soviets have won their first game in the series, and they have a brand new series going into game number 4. These wind up for the traditional congratulations, and then they'll announce the most outstanding players in the game, and then we'll see those famous Olympic coins. And there you see another look of the players shaking hands as they move down center ice. Outstanding game, a wide-open, freewheeling third period. The goals seem to be easy to come by, and there's 7 of them in all. And the final score, the Soviets 8 and Canada 5. This is Game 3 from Winnipeg.
Одна из многих вещей, которые мне нравятся в Канаде, это рост наличных сбережений. Простой способ сберегать рубли и копейки. Вы только скажите в Торонто Доминион, сколько вы хотите сберечь и когда вы хотите вложить их в банк. Все остальное они сделают. Соответствующие суммы будут переводиться с вашего чекового счета на ваш сберегательный счет автоматически. Это так просто. А люди такие хорошие. Это банк, где люди составляют разницу.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the 2 players selected by a panel of Canadian and Soviet sports writers as the most valuable players of the game. For the Soviet side, number 15, Alexander Yakushev. And for Team Canada, number 19, Paul Henderson. The presentation of the team sets of Series 2 Olympic coins will be made by Mr. Bill Coburn, the goaltender for Canada's Olympic gold medal hockey team at the 1932 Olympics.
Well, the outstanding player in the victory, Alexander Yakushev. If you could come in here, Alexander, please. Alexander, with this great victory today, I'm wondering if there was any change in the overall strategy of the game.
Какое-нибудь изменение в тактике команды по сравнению с прошлыми играми? В этой игре было какое-то изменение в тактике?
Тактический рисунок мы оставили прежний. Атаковать, атаковать и атаковать.
The tactics have remained the same.
You scored 2 brilliant goals, Alexander. But I was wondering if the team, your team, were now hitting more, being more physical.
Я хотел бы спросить вас, ваша команда, на мой взгляд,